Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different.
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to be using song lyrics as our source material,
song lyrics.
but not just any song lyrics.
Right.
These are from a Bollywood film called Meri Mehbooba,
All right. Sounds interesting.
and we're going to be taking a look at these lyrics because they're part of this fascinating literacy initiative called PlanetRead.
PlanetRead. Okay.
Yeah, they've been around for like over 20 years.
Wow, that's a while.
Yeah, and they're working towards literacy for 1 billion. That's their mission.
Literacy for 1 billion. That's quite ambitious.
It is, it is. So how do Bollywood lyrics play into all of this?
Well, PlanetRead uses these lyrics in a really clever way.
Okay.
They use something called same language subtitles, or SLSS,
SLSS, okay.
in Bollywood films.
Mm.
The idea is to leverage the huge popularity of Bollywood to entertain and educate at the same time.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here. So people are watching these films, enjoying the music, and also seeing the words spelled out on the screen.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because it just taps into an existing behavior.
Okay.
Think about it. A lot of us learn new languages or even expanded our vocabularies
Yeah.
just by watching films with subtitles.
Yeah, for sure.
So PlanetRead is doing the same thing, but with same language subtitles.
Makes sense.
So it makes it easier for people to connect the sounds of their language with its written form.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
You know, when I was learning Spanish, subtitles were really helpful for me. Like, I would watch movies I already knew and loved, but with Spanish subtitles, and it really helped.
It's a good way to learn.
Yeah, so applying that to literacy makes a lot of sense.
For sure.
But let's go back to these Meri Mehbooba lyrics that we have here.
Sure.
I noticed a couple things.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the disclaimer says these lyrics are for educational use, not commercial.
Right.
So we know we're looking at something specifically made for learning.
That makes sense.
But what I found interesting was how they've integrated some English phrases,
Oh, really?
like, oh bloody, oh blood, oh blood-do.
Yeah.
And it's all within the Hindi lyrics.
Yeah.
It's almost like a catchy hook, but in English.
You've hit on a key technique that PlanetRead uses called code switching.
Code switching. Okay.
By adding these English phrases, they're trying to grab the viewer's attention and make it more interactive.
Okay.
It's like a little surprise,
Yeah.
to keep you engaged.
But do you think that it really works? I mean, doesn't that interrupt the flow of the song?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of debate about code switching in education.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people think it can be distracting. Others think it can actually help learners make connections between languages, help with their understanding.
So I guess there's no easy answer then.
Not really. It probably depends on the learner's age, their exposure to the languages,
Right.
and the context. So it's something that needs more research, for sure.
Makes sense. It seems like PlanetRead is really trying to come up with creative ways to make learning more engaging.
Right.
It's not just about showing people the words. It's
Yeah.
about making it a more interactive and memorable experience.
For sure.
But I wonder, is it really that straightforward?
Mhm.
Can simply watching Bollywood films with same language subtitles really impact literacy rates that much?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there isn't an easy answer.
Oh, okay.
While PlanetRead's method is very innovative
Yeah,
and it's gotten a lot of attention,
right.
it's difficult to measure its actual impact.
What makes it so hard to assess?
Well, think about everything that goes into developing literacy.
Okay.
It's not just about seeing written language.
Right.
It's also about access to education, socioeconomic factors, cultural attitudes towards learning, individual learning styles.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty complicated.
Yeah, it's a lot of things all tangled together.
Right. So trying to isolate just the effect of same language subtitles must be hard.
Exactly. It's really tricky to say definitively that one thing is responsible for improvements.
That makes sense, but even if it's hard to measure exactly, the logic behind it seems pretty solid.
Yeah,
And using something as popular as Bollywood to help people learn is really appealing.
absolutely. And that's one of the best things about what PlanetRead is doing.
Yeah.
They're embracing popular culture, using it for good.
That's a really powerful idea, but realistically, are there any downsides?
Of course, there are always things to think about.
Okay.
One thing is making sure the subtitles are accurate and high quality.
Yeah, you wouldn't want any mistakes confusing people.
Exactly. They need to be crafted really carefully
Right.
to match the spoken language.
Okay.
You have to consider pronunciation and even regional dialects.
Wow. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it needs linguistic expertise and a lot of attention to detail.
I see. But isn't there a risk of people just seeing this as entertainment? and not actually learning?
That's another valid concern. Some people might say that viewers could get so into the movie that the subtitles don't matter.
Hmm.
They might not really engage with the words or make those connections between the spoken and written language.
So then how do you balance entertainment and education? How do you make sure people are learning from the subtitles?
Well, that's where the design of the subtitles comes in.
Oh, okay.
Things like font size, color, where they're placed on the screen are really important.
Hmm.
You want them to be clear and easy to read,
Right.
but you don't want them to be so big that they distract from the movie.
Yeah. That's a tough balance.
It is. It's a design challenge for sure,
Hmm.
but it's something that PlanetRead has been working on and improving over the years.
Oh, wow.
They've been testing different things,
Okay.
getting feedback from viewers and teachers to make their subtitles better.
So it's constantly evolving.
It is. It's never finished.
Okay.
And that's what's so exciting about this. It's not a fixed solution. It's always changing and adapting to fit the needs of learners and this changing media landscape.
I have to say, I am really impressed with what PlanetRead is doing.
Yeah.
It's such a simple idea, but so smart.
Right.
And it makes me wonder, could same language subtitles be used for more than just Bollywood films?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
And it opens up a lot of possibilities.
Like what?
Well, think about TV shows,
Sure.
music videos, online educational content, even video games.
Wow, yeah, you're right. That could be really cool.
Right. It can be applied to so many things.
Yeah, like kids could be watching their favorite cartoons and learning at the same time.
Exactly. And it's not just for kids either. Think about news broadcasts, documentaries, online courses.
Yeah, people could be learning about all sorts of things without even realizing they're learning.
Right. It just becomes part of how they watch and listen to things.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the best part is it can be adjusted for different people and what they want to learn.
Yeah, exactly. You can change how difficult the subtitles are, how much code switching there is. You could even add interactive things.
Wow, that's fascinating. But I do wonder how realistic all of this is. I mean, subtitling Bollywood films is one thing,
Right.
but doing it for everything seems almost impossible.
Yeah, you're right. Scaling this up would take a lot of work and resources.
Right.
We'd need to come up with some rules for making the subtitles.
Hmm.
Train people to translate and work with the companies who make these shows and videos and games.
Yeah, and we'd have to make sure the subtitles are accessible to everyone.
Absolutely, that's so important.
Yeah, people need to be able to use them on different devices, and if they have trouble seeing...
We have to think about things like font size, color contrast, and if people can change the settings for the subtitles.
Wow, that's a lot to consider, but I think it would be worth it.
I think so too.
If we could make this happen, it could really help more people learn to read.
It's a great goal, but let's be realistic here. Same language subtitles aren't going to magically solve the problem of illiteracy.
Okay, what else should we be thinking about?
Well, becoming literate involves more than just reading words on a screen.
Right.
It's about understanding what you read, thinking critically about it, and using that knowledge.
So same language subtitles can help people learn to read, but it's only one part of it.
Exactly. We also need good schools and teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of books and places where people feel like learning is important.
You know, thinking about PlanetRead and the Bollywood lyrics,
Yeah.
it's not just about literacy, it's also about making it relevant to people's cultures.
That's a great point.
They're using something that's already part of Indian culture
Yeah.
to help people learn.
And that makes it more familiar and easier to connect with.
Right. So instead of just doing the same thing everywhere, we need to think about what works best in different places.
Exactly. Like maybe in some cultures, music videos or sports would be better than films or TV shows.
Hmm.
It's about knowing what people like and how they use media.
I see. So we really need people from different areas to work together on this.
Absolutely.
Teachers, language experts, people who make media, and people who understand different cultures.
Yes. We need to understand both how people learn and how they interact with the world around them.
This has been really interesting.
It has.
We've talked about how clever PlanetRead's idea is the research behind same language subtitles and how this could change learning for everyone.
We have. And I think we all understand better now how important subtitles are.
Yeah, they can help us learn about language culture and even the world in general.
Exactly. But let's get back to those lyrics.
Oh, yeah, right. What else did you find interesting about them?
Well, the way PlanetRead wrote the Hindi language is really fascinating.
So how did they write the Hindi?
Well, instead of using the typical way of writing Hindi, like with the Devanagari script,
Right.
they used a Romanized transliteration.
So they're writing the Hindi words with English letters.
Exactly.
Why would they do that?
It makes it a lot easier for people who are just learning to read. A new script can be intimidating.
Yeah, that's true.
But if they use Romanized text, anyone who knows English can understand it.
Oh, that's smart. So it's like taking out one extra step.
Right.
So people can just focus on matching the sounds they hear with the words on the screen.
Exactly. Did you notice anything else about the lyrics?
Yeah, actually, they subtitled pretty much every word, even the little ones that don't really have a meaning.
Yeah, it might seem like too much.
Yeah.
But that's how PlanetRead works.
Mm.
They want to show you everything,
Okay.
not just the important words.
Right.
They're trying to give you a complete picture of what's being said.
So even if people aren't thinking about it too much,
Yeah.
they're still getting exposed to how Hindi is structured.
Exactly. It's like
Uh-huh.
a visual map of the language.
That's cool. You know, I also noticed that there's a lot of repetition in the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, phrases like Meri Mehbooba show up again and again.
Right.
Is there a reason for that?
Absolutely. Repetition is really helpful when you're learning a language.
Okay.
When you see the same words over and over,
Yeah.
you start to remember them better.
That makes sense.
It helps you connect the spoken word and the written word.
It's like when you learn a song, the tune and the repetition make it easy to remember the words.
Right.
Oh.
PlanetRead is using that same idea, but to help people learn to read.
That's really clever. You know, while we've been talking about this,
Yeah.
I realized that we don't really pay much attention to subtitles. We see them all the time, but we don't think about how important they can be.
That's true. We usually just think of them as translations,
Yeah.
but they can do so much more, like what PlanetRead is doing.
Right. They can help us learn languages, understand different cultures, and even change the world.
Exactly. And it's amazing to think that something as simple as subtitles can have such a big effect.
It really is. So I guess what we've learned today is that subtitles are pretty amazing.
They really are.
We talked about PlanetRead's work and how they're using same language subtitles.
Right.
And how that could make a difference for people all over the world. And I think we all have a new appreciation for subtitles.
I hope so.
They're not just for translations anymore.
We got it.
They can help us learn and understand so much more.
So keep an eye out for those subtitles.
Yes.
You never know what you might learn.
Well, that's it for our deep dive today.
Until next time.
Keep exploring and keep learning.